how to lose 3 to 5 kilo body fat in the next 30 days without putting your social life on hold, without putting time with your loved ones on hold, right? This is a complete step-by-step guide and blueprint to what I actually help implement with my own one-to-one clients to help them achieve results just like this on a month-by-month basis as well. From start to finish, this is going to be a complete blueprint of showing you exactly how we do it and exactly how you can go away from this training and actually implement it yourself and drop 3 to 5 kilo body fat in the next 30 days. Let's be honest, who doesn't want that, right? So let's waste no time and let's get ourselves into exactly how you can do this for yourself over the next 30 days. So first of all, how can I make such a claim? How can I actually tell you that, right, if you implement these steps, how can I be so confident of it that you're going to lose 3 to 5 kilo body fat within that period of time? Well, in the last month alone, right, we've helped my clients, these guys, do exactly that. So as you can see, at the time we recording this video, we are now on the 28th of January, right? This is my client Hugh, who started with this at the start of January and has lost 4.7 kilo in the last 4 weeks. We've got my client Alana, so from the start of January as well, has lost 4.7 kilo in just 25 days. And then we've also got Harry here as well, who's only been with us as of the time we recording this video for 12 days and has already lost 3.3 kilo. As you can see there, 86.7 right the way down into the 83.4, I believe it is, 83.4 for the 3.3 kilo altogether as well, as you can see through his weight chart. So this is why I'm so confident that if you implement these exact steps and of course the exact blueprint that I implement with my own clients, by the end of the next 30 days, you'll be 3 to 5 kilo body fat down, guaranteed. So first things first, why a calorie deficit is key to fat loss, because straight away, this is the most important part. This is the foundation to any fat loss journey. This is exactly how anybody loses weight. They need to be in a calorie deficit, right? And fat loss actually happens when you burn more calories than what you consume. It's as simple as that. That's the best way for us to put it. You burn more calories on a day-to-day basis compared to what you consume into your body, right? This is the fundamental to any fat loss journey. So with science altogether, right, for you to lose a kilo body fat, right, you need to be roughly in a deficit of around 7,700. Okay, so if you to lose a kilo in a week, you need to be roughly in around 7,700 calorie deficit. Every 10 days, 7,700 calorie deficit to lose 1 kilo. So total calorie deficit required over essentially a 30-day window to lose 3 to 5 kilo is anywhere between 23,000 and 38,500. So the example that I'm going to be using throughout this training is based around a 100 kilo individual as well. So this translates to a daily deficit of around 770 or around 1,280 calories, give or take as well. So of course, how can this be achieved? Through our nutrition and through our exercise and energy output. That is the most important thing. That's how we create a deficit. So let's do some science and let's run some numbers together to help you be able to work this out for yourself. So as I said previously, this example is based off a 100 kilo individual. So give or take, this is just off a rough estimate. This will be different depending on the person, the metabolism, the age, their abilities, starting positions, etc. So an estimated maintenance calories for a 100 kilo person is roughly around 3,000 calories per day. So that is the rough estimate for a maintenance for a person of 100 kilo. Okay, and this varies, as I say, based on activity, metabolism, etc. and starting position. So if this was a 100 kilo person to lose 3 kilo in the next 30 days, right, they would need to be aiming for roughly around 2,230 calories on a daily basis as well, which would create roughly around, give or take, a 770 calorie deficit on a daily basis. So every 10 days you would lose roughly a kilo. And if you wanted to do the higher end, you wanted to be losing around 5 kilo in a month as well, which for those that work in pound is around 12 pounds. Over the next 30 days, you want to be aiming for roughly on a day-to-day basis, 1,720 calories daily. So as you can see, creating a deficit of around 1,280 per day through your food and through your exercise output and your energy output as well. And just a little bit of an important note that I actually wanted to add at the bottom of this here as well is just being a little bit wary and avoid going below 1,200 calories on a daily basis because your body needs food as fuel. Okay, so I would always recommend, instead of breaking below that, make sure that you are increasing your output, so your energy levels, your cardio, your steps, your training, to try and create a larger deficit instead of taking more food away, especially if you are getting close to this number. So as you can see, maintenance calories on the left-hand side here, where my mouse is around 3,000 for a 100 kilo individual. And if they wanted to be losing 3 kilo in 30 days, they'd be sitting around this marker here, 2,230. And if they wanted to be a little tad more aggressive and lose 5 kilo within that period of time, they need to be creating a deficit of around 1,280, rounded up to 1,300 on a daily basis. So how do we do this and create it safely? Because, you know, fat loss, yes, of course, we can go as aggressive and not aggressive as we want. But I think one of the most important things within this as well is we look for sustainability. So not just a short-term fix. We want something we can sustain long-term. But we also want to be able to do this safely and massively effectively. If we do it effectively, it's going to feel a lot easier and a lot less like you're banging your head against the wall, okay? So how we want to create that deficit in the first place is combining your nutrition with your movement. So of course, your actual food with the exercise that you do on a daily basis. So don't just rely on your diet. Don't just rely on plummeting your calories by 1,200 just to create a deficit, right? Let's use a little bit of a deficit with food and a little bit of a deficit with exercise as well. So let's say we split your deficit and reduce your food intake by 500 from where your maintenance is, for example. And then we look to burn anywhere between 300 to 700 calories on a day-by-day basis through cardio, strength training, and steps. This is just to give you a little bit of a ballpark figure on this as well. So they've done scientific studies over the years as well of the average male and female weighing in around the mid 70 kilo point, right, will burn give or take around 450 to 500 calories per 10,000 steps. So if you're weighing slightly more than that mid 70 kilo range, you may be burning more. You may be burning more than 500 calories per 10,000 steps. Like me, at the time of recording this video, I'm 82 kilo. And for my 10,000 steps, it's probably around 500 plus 550 calories burnt on a daily basis. So as you can see, if I just reduce my food by 500, I do 10,000 steps a day. I've already created an 1,000 calorie deficit. And let's say I wanted to do a strength training session on top of that, probably going to be creating a deficit of around 1,200 to 1,300 on a day-by-day basis, which can therefore add up to me losing 5 kilo at the end of the 30 days. So step number 2 is prioritize your protein intake. Not many people do this, but obviously we want to be making sure we keep hold of muscle mass through a dieting phase and when we're trying to drop body fat as well. So make sure that you're using your chicken breast, your fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, steaks, etc. in each meal as well. That would be my high recommendation, because what I tend to see a lot of is people, yes, dropping body fat, but they end up losing muscle and muscle wastage as well as body fat drop. So they're losing weight, not dropping body fat. Therefore, when it comes down to the end of the fat loss process, they feel actually a little bit worse because they've lost that tone definition and that muscle mass that they want. So making sure that you actually aim to have protein in every single meal is just going to help you keep hold of that muscle mass as well, so you look even better at the end of your fat loss process, right? Who doesn't want that? So choose quality carbs, avoid refined carbs and liquid calories, okay? So the hidden calories is what I mean by liquid. So I don't actually have an example on the desk with me at the moment, but let's say you drink a normal Coke, Lucozade, your coffees, your teas, anything that is like a sugary based drink, right? Unless it's like a zero or like, let's say, a black coffee. These drinks will have calories within them. Same as your specialty coffees from the likes of Costa, your Starbucks, etc. These things all have calories, and you'd be pretty surprised as well how many calories like the specialities have within them as well. You could probably be ranging anywhere between 200 plus for these. So I would always recommend as well just trying to stay away from liquid calories, especially over that period of time. Include them in if you want to include them in, but just be smart when including them in too. So opt for whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and plenty of water to keep you satisfied. A lot of people will hear the generic advice of veg and fruit, but these two things are really high in fiber, so they will naturally keep us fuller for longer. And also, if you think about it, fruits and veg is really low calories for the amount of it that you get. Just to give you an example, 200 grams of strawberries is around 60 calories, right? That's a teaspoon of olive oil compared to 200 grams of strawberries. Big difference, right? Think about which one's going to keep you fuller. So monitor and adjust is another thing. Track your food intake. Start tracking it. And of course, same thing within this. If you're watching this trainer and you need a little bit of a helping hand with how to track your food, just let me know. I'll send you over another free little bit of a video on top of that of how you can actually track your food effectively. So track your food and your physical activity and make small adjustments based on your weekly progress, okay? So to stay on track and instead of feeling deprived from things and not seeing results. So you always want to be monitoring your results on a week-by-week basis, not just a daily basis, okay? So taking your average weight, how you do that, just to give you a little bit of an insight, is weigh yourself daily over 7 days, add all of those weigh-ins together, so whether you're weighing in pounds or kilos, and then let's say that number comes out at 500, for example, just a round number. divided by how many days you've actually weighed in for. So if you've weighed in all 7 days of the week, and the end of the week, the number of all the weigh-ins come together at 500, divide that by 7, that will give you your average weight for the week. And of course, if you're not dropping on average, let's say a percentage of your body weight, so if you're 80 kilo, 0.8, 90 kilo, 0.9, 100 kilo, 1 kilo, then of course you can make adjustments by increasing your steps and slightly reducing your calories if needs be. Last but not least on this, don't press the fuck it button. Don't be that person. You know, you will achieve this result, right, through consistently following these steps, right? I promise you, you continue to follow these steps on a week by week basis over the next 30 days, you will achieve this result, not just Monday to Friday. If you follow this Monday to Friday, fantastic. But if you're not following it over the weekend, the chances that you are unraveling things is pretty high. I'm going to be showing you how you can actually not unravel things and still enjoy your social life and still actually be able to drop 3 to 5 kilo body fat in the next 30 days. So how do you do it? How do you manage social events? Let's get ourselves into that as well. First things first, method number 1 is calorie banking. Calorie banking is a tool that I utilise when I know I've got an event in advance. So if I know next Saturday I'm going for a big Chinese meal, for example, for someone's birthday, I'll just start to bank calories roughly around 7 days prior to that event. And of course, it's going to give me more room to move. So it's very useful, as I say, especially when a dieting phase to support social events. So you want to look at banking around 150, as you can see, to 200 calories a day on the days leading up to your social event. So this doesn't mean 2 weeks in advance, just be a little bit smart with it, right? So as you can see through this example, if you bank 200 calories per day across a 6-day week, you'll have a further 1200 calorie deficits, which will ensure you stay on plan for the week, right? So within this example here, the deficit that we're looking at consuming on a day-by-day basis is 2000. So I want you to keep that number in your mind. And as you can see, from Monday to Friday, on this example, I've pulled back by 200 calories every single day. So it's actually created a further 1,000 calorie deficit. So on the Saturday, let's say I had the Chinese out with the family, I could eat 3,000 calories and have an extra 1,000 compared to what I'd normally have. But because I banked them earlier in the week, I'm still on track. I'm still on plan. And as you can see, the day after, I've resumed to normal. I've not crash dieted. I've not slashed my calories or starved myself. I've just gone straight back to basics as well, because this is the trick that so many people miss. Yes, Monday to Friday, they may bank the calories. Then they'll be perfectly on plan. They may eat a little bit more food than they expect, and that's fine because you've banked. The chances are you are probably still within your target. It's just the fluctuation in the weight that you may see on the Sunday that makes you go into that spiral and continue to eat more. But I promise you, if you just go back to eating what you were currently eating at 2,000 before you started banking your calories, you'll be straight back to your lowest weigh-in within a matter of 3 to 4 days, straight away as well. So as you can see, this is a really useful tool if you know you've got a social event in advance, so you can then therefore pull back by 200 every single day for 5 days, create an extra 1,000 calorie deficit, use the extra 1,000 calories on your social events, return back to normal the following day. And I guarantee you will be in a line with exactly where you need to be. So number 2, intermittent fast / protein modified fast. So this is a method that we tend to help our clients implement when it's more spontaneous. So last minute plans. Today is a Wednesday. Let's say I had a friend saying to me, oh, do you want to go for some food later today? And I decided, you know what, yeah, I really do. I've not seen them for a while. This is what I'd potentially look to implement. Okay, so step number 1, what you want to be doing is delaying your first meal of the day till around 12/1 p.m. And as you can see here, because I've done that, we want to be keeping it protein based. So not carbs, not slices of toast, not just fruit, right? We want it to be protein based. So if we can keep it 80% protein, that would be my recommendation as well, because what this is going to do is help you stay fuller for longer. So therefore, in the afternoon, you're not going to get the urge between your first meal and your social event to start snacking, eating a little bit more food as well. You're probably going to be more than likely satisfied right the way up until you have your social event. So as you can see here, I've delayed my first meal on this example to 12/1 p.m. and we're still going to use the example of I'm eating 2,000 calories a day to lose weight. So because I've done that, I've used 400 calories of mainly protein. This has given me 1,600 calories still left for the evening time, so I can go and enjoy that meal. 1,600 calories is a lot of calories to play with. And of course, as you can see, because I've delayed that first meal of the day, it's reduced the eating window, so therefore I'm not going to be likely to snack between hand. I'm not going to want to eat more food. I've actually just saved more calories to use for the rest of the day. So this is why it's really, really beneficial. And step number 3, to reduce your hunger in these gaps between, like, let's say 1 p.m. and 6 p.m, if you're starting to feel excess hunger, use water, first of all, a little bit of water, just to see whether it's a little bit of a thirst craving instead of actual food. Or use things that are high in caffeine. So, you can have a black coffee, 0-calorie drinks, Pepsi Max, Coke Zero, etc. because caffeine helps suspend hunger. So if you find yourself within that 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. gap, getting a little bit hungry, implement a little form of caffeine, and I guarantee you that it will help. So this is compared to if you didn't implement this method, right? So this is if you do implement this method. As you can see, we've had first meal of the day, social events, still stay within 2,000 calories. If you don't implement this and you do this a little bit differently, this will show you exactly how you can go over your calories on the day. So let's say 9 to 10 a.m. we had 400 calories. Then 2 p.m. you had your lunch, which was 600. That's already took you to 1,000 for the day. So you've only got 1,000 left if you wanted to stay inside of your deficit for that day and still be able to enjoy your social event. However, if you go to your social event and you consume that 1,600, that's took you over your calorie deficit by 600 calories. Will this fuck up your results? No way. Not a chance will it fuck up your results. It may just slow down your rate of loss that week because you are actually not in a deficit for that day itself. It may just slow down your rate of loss. So this is why intermittent and protein modified fasting can be really beneficial for like last minute social events, and is something that I implement myself for any last minute events like this. So supporting habits for fat loss, right? So over the next sort of 30 days, we want to be making sure that there is some solid habits in place to support the actual weight coming off the body as well. So creating a calorie deficit is essential, of course, as I say here, but these lifestyle factors will play into success in your long-term journey, okay? The foundations, some small daily deficits consistently maintained up, create insane results over the next 30 days. Quality sleep, right? This is one that I see so many people neglect. Aim for 7 to 9 hours to regulate your hormones, right? This is one of the biggest things that a lot of people skip. We have leptin and ghrelin, which are basically our hunger signals. And of course, if we're getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep, you may notice this when I say this, you could be extra hungry the following day. But prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep will help regulate these hormones, your hunger hormones. So therefore, easier to recover, easier to adhere to your fat loss actual plan because you're not as hungry and you're not craving as much as well. That's why quality sleep is so important. Stress management, cortisol, control your cortisol levels through mindfulness, whether that's like journaling, meditation, yoga, prevent emotional eating and reducing stress-related fat storage as well. So this is a big thing. So for example, if you find yourself stressed, try to really revert towards an activity that you enjoy, that you know reduces your stress levels. And I probably wouldn't advise going to the gym within this. If you are someone that enjoys watching a film, you are someone that enjoys a steam in a sauna, a spa day, or let's say, for example, you just enjoy some general downtime reading a book, for example, spending time with your family watching a film, implement some form of stress management into your day-to-day, 100%. Just to give you an insight of what I like to do, obviously on a day-to-day basis as well, is same thing within this. As soon as 8/8:30 p.m. comes, I always sit down with a little bit of food and watch some Netflix, as that's my downtime in the day. That helps me regulate my stress management, stops from stress burnout, emotional burnout, and causes me to go off plan with food. Last but not least, weekly track and monitor your progress each week. Adjust your calories as well. So if you see that you fully adhere to your plan, but by the end of the week as well, you've actually not seen any results, if you are a female, reduce your calories between 60 to 120. And if you are a male, I'd reduce them between 100 and 200, okay? Just to budge your deficit further along to get closer to that, let's say, 1% of your body weight loss on a week-by-week basis as well. So your 30-day fat loss journey starts now. So if you're watching this, right, and your goal is to drop that 3 to 5 kilo body fat over the next 30 days, it starts right now. Let's implement these steps. So first of all, we want to calculate and understand your calorie needs and a manageable deficit. Fuel your body with nutrient-dense foods and move daily. One of the most important things, and commit. Remember, consistency over perfection. Every single time, it will always win. And what I've done here, I've actually attached a free meal plan and a calorie calculator below. So if you click onto this here, it will take you through to a calorie calculator to exactly your height, your weight, your activity level. So this will give you an accurate maintenance, and therefore you can remove the calories that you need from your maintenance to help create that 1% rate of loss on a week-by-week basis. And on here as well, if you go on to download your free, as you'll be able to see, there's calorie meal plans from 1,200 right the way up to 3,000 to help you be able to access and actually be able to know where to start within this as well. And oh, I forgot to mention, inside of this too is a recipe book bundle with air fry recipes, healthy recipes, 20-minute meals, fake away editions, etc. So you are all covered as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you over this video, of course, if you requested it. And below this, of course, video, I'm going to send you over a little bit of I'm going to basically send you over the document to this so you can access your free meal plan and your calorie calculator too. So implement implement these next steps over the 30 days. If you struggle with anything, please don't hesitate just to shoot me a message on Instagram. But of course, as always, implement these exact steps. Don't be pressing the fucking button over a weekend. Even if you have one off plan day, implement one of these actual strategies that we've discussed. And over the next 30 days, I'll be excited to see exactly where you finish. And as I say at the very, very beginning, if you implement these exact steps, just like we've helped our clients implement, you can expect to lose anywhere between 3 to 5 kilo. As Hugh did 4.7 in 4 weeks, Alana 4.7 in 25 days, Harry 3.3 in 12 days, who's on course to potentially be doing 6.6 kilo in the next 25, well, obviously the next 12 days all together as well. So you implement these steps, everything will change, and that is exactly how you can lose 3 to 5 kilo body fat in the next 30 days. Let's go.